Hello. This video is a difficult video for me to make. The aim of it is to inform you about artificial intelligence. For those of you who know nothing about it, this is a real basic layperson's introduction to artificial intelligence, because I believe it is absolutely mind-blowing and is going to have huge impacts for us all, probably within the next 5 years, and most of us are pretty much unaware of it and what's going on. There's lots of videos on the internet from the more techie people who really understand computers and have been in this world for a long time. That's not me. There's a lot of people who are completely unaware of it at the moment, and this is something that is taking off really quickly, and it's going to have a huge impact on our lives. It's something that I find really exciting. I feel actually quite excited by it. Also, it's very unknown what the consequences will be. So in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you what artificial intelligence is currently capable of doing, and this is developing all the time. So what is it? Artificial intelligence is a technology that's based on the cognitive abilities of the human brain. So that's things such as learning, problem solving, decision making, which means a program that can think and solve problems on its own without following a set of instructions. So it has some basic rules, and then it can use that basic information to then go on to solve problems and do things without having to have instructions for every step of the way. The first AI started to be developed in the 1950s, and that was more looking at things like creating computers that could play chess and things like that. And then in the 60s and the 70s, it was more about modelling experts and things like that. So solving problems, mathematical problems, being an expert in a field, that kind of thing. In the 80s, not much happened because there wasn't much funding for it, and the computers hadn't developed enough to build on the AI that had already been created. Then in the 90s, there was more interest again because computers had developed, the amount of computing ability they had developed, and also the amount of data that was available to train a computer or train a model. So they had a lot more data available to do the training, and that's when we started to get things like development of self-driving cars and things like Siri and Alexa. That's all artificial intelligence. And then in the 2000s, we started to get different kinds of models developed. And more recently, we've got computer models that now have been trained on lots of data, and they can take all those, whether it's images or words, and they can then create new ideas from that, or new things. So you could take a whole lot of pictures, for instance. It's been trained, it's looked at millions and millions of pictures, and then it has the ability now to be able to create brand new pictures, so things that have never been created before from those existing images. So that is the big step that makes it so totally fascinating and exciting, but also a bit scary too. And the questions people are asking is like, where is this going? What does it mean for the future? And I think one thing we can be sure of, it means a huge upheaval and change probably over the next few years, which is why I want people to be aware of what it is. Then at least you can be prepared. You can think about what it means for you, and maybe, you know, the advantages of incorporating it into your lives in some ways, because it's here. It's not going to go back in the box now. It's well out of the box, and it's developing at an incredible pace. So the other thing it can do, of course, is with words. So there's different AIs. So you hear about people talking about different AIs. So different forms of artificial intelligence. So there's artificial intelligence that's really good with images and pictures and create new pictures and art and that kind of thing. Then there's artificial intelligence that's really good with words and can create, can do all sorts with words. And I'm going to show you this now. I'm going to show you a couple examples of what it can do so that you can see for yourself. I'm going to put links in the description part of the video down below, so that you have links so you can go and look at it yourself and find out and play with it. That's what I've been doing. So you build up your own opinion about it. I will make other videos about it because I think there's so much to say, but in this video I really just wanted it to be a basic introduction to artificial intelligence, particularly for people who it's not something that's on their radar, it's not something you're particularly interested in, but it is going to have a huge impact on our lives because it's and I think the ways I believe it's going to impact on our lives is on jobs initially. It's going to change the way lots of things are done. Because now, with artificial intelligence, you will see from the demonstration, you can do things so much faster. And because I think originally they thought that artificial intelligence maybe would just affect certain jobs, like the more automated things, well, robotics is a whole different subject. There's robots as well, but this is more to do with the cognitive thinking type of things rather than the practical, like moving a box from A to B. It's about problem solving and that kind of thing and creation. And I think what's shocked a lot of people is that it's not just capable of gathering and processing huge amounts of information, a bit like Google or something. So it's not just about giving you facts and information, it is also creative. And for me, that was the shocking thing, the fact that it is so creative. So that is going to affect jobs that are more the things we didn't imagine that technology would affect. So the more the artist type jobs, all the creating jobs. Yeah, it's interesting, fascinating, and here's a couple of examples of what it can do. Okay, so I'm using a model here called ChatGPT. It's an optimizing language model for dialogue, so it's really good with words. And this is the first page you come up with. You can put try ChatGPT. It takes you into it. You may have to sign in. Initially you sign in, but it's not complicated. And then here you can start asking it questions. So I'm going to pretend that I'm a primary school teacher and I'd like it to develop me a lesson plan. So I'm going to put, can you create a lesson plan for a class of 20, so let's say 25-year-olds. Now you get some idea of my class size. I think that's probably a very good class size for most teachers these days. Can you create a lesson plan for a class of 5-year-olds about the universe? Okay, and then you just press enter and see how quickly it comes up with something. There, it started. Sure, here's a sample lesson plan for a class of 25-year-olds about the universe. Starts with the objectives and what the students will understand that the universe is a vast and infinite space that contains stars, planets and galaxies. And then it goes on to describe ideas and materials you need for the lesson, the introduction, how you do that, and then direct instruction 15 minutes. And it says use a globe or model of the universe, explain that the Earth is a planet, orbits around the sun, so it's telling you exactly what to explain and how to demonstrate it. Then some guided practice says divide the class into small groups and give each group a picture of a star, planet or galaxy. Ask the students to describe the picture and tell their group members what they know about it. Encourage the students to ask questions and share information with each other. Then there's some independent practice. It says give each student a blank piece of paper and a pencil. Ask them to draw a picture of something they learned about the universe. The closing summary, ending the lesson, and then it just say at the end, this lesson plan is an example and can be adapted to suit the specific needs of the class. So that's just, it's just come up now saying we're experiencing exceptionally high demand. Please hang tight as we work on scaling our systems. There are now millions of people accessing this site, which at the moment is free to access. Okay, so I might say now I'm going to try and illustrate to you just how creative it can be. Okay, so I might say, write me a song that would help the students to learn about the universe. And I'll put using language that a five-year-old can understand. Okay, So, write me a song that would help the students to learn about the universe using language that a 5-year-old can understand. Just enter that. Off it goes. Verse 1. Look up at the sky. What do you see? Stars twinkling and shining bright as far as can be. The moon and the sun, they light up the night, and the planets go round and round in their flight. And there's a chorus. The universe is so big, so much to explore, with stars and planets and galaxies galore. Let's learn and discover what's out there to see. The universe is full of wonder, just wait and see. Verse 2, there's Mercury and Venus and Earth where we live, and Mars is the planet with a red surface to give. Jupiter and Saturn with rings you can see. Uranus and Neptune are blue and green. And then there's the chorus again, and then a bridge. Well, interesting. From the Milky Way to faraway stars, so much to learn and so many to see. The universe is big and beautiful. Let's discover it as much as we can be. And then they've even put an outro, so they've gone for a full song here. Ends with, so next time you look up at the sky, remember the universe is waiting for you to discover and fly. And then it does say you can adjust the song according to your needs and add more verses or repetition for better memorization. So now I've just asked, can you come up with some ideas I could use to help the children to learn about the planets, which would be fun for 5-year-olds? I just felt I wanted some other ideas. Enter that, let's see what it comes up with. Sure, here are a few ideas for teaching 5-year-olds about the planets in a fun and interactive way. I like this one. Create a solar system walk. Set up a solar system walk in your classroom or playground where each planet is represented by a large card or poster. Label each planet with its name and a picture and ask the children to walk from planet to planet in order, learning about each one as they go. And they've got planet sorting. Create a sorting activity where children can sort different pictures of planets into groups. Build a solar system. Provide materials such as cardboard, paint and glue, and have the children create a 3D model of the solar system. That might be a little bit adventurous for 5-year-olds, but I don't know. Planet matching games. They suggest some kind of game. Planet dramatization. The children act out different scenarios and different planets. What would it be like to live on a gas giant like Jupiter or a rocky planet like Earth? Planet research. Assign each child a planet to research and have them create a poster of their planet. It goes on. A planet song. Have the children learn a song that lists the planets in order from the sun. You can use the song that I provided earlier. And then role playing. Assign the children different roles such as an astronaut, a rocket engineer, a planet explorer, and have them act out a scenario where they are exploring the different planets. So it says then at the end, these are just a few ideas to get you started. So hey, my gosh, there's enough to go at, isn't there? Yeah, let's just do a really random one off the top of my head. Write me a poem about a whale and a starfish on a mountain. Write me a poem about a whale and a starfish living on a mountain. So, a whale and a starfish on a mountain so high, two unlikely friends in a land of sky. The whale he swam through the air with a grace, his fins outstretched as he soared through space. The starfish she clung to the mountain so steep, with her arms outspread she lay there asleep. Together they watched as the clouds rolled by, their friendship so strong that it reached the sky. The whale would sing a song so sweet. The starfish would listen with her arms to her feet. They laughed and they played in the mountain's embrace, their friendship so pure it was a true grace. As the sun set below, they said good night, the whale and the starfish, a beautiful sight. Though one was a whale and one was a star, they were the best of friends from the land afar. A whale and a starfish on a mountain so high, two unlikely friends in a land of sky. But it does say at the end, note, keep in mind that this is a fiction poem and it's not based on real facts or events. That's interesting that they've started to add that on. Yeah. But can you see the creativity that this has is just really, I wanted to say it's just out of this world, and I think that's it. It is out of this world. So now I'm on a program called Midjourney. And it's an AI that's used for creating images. You can see an image of a fish there. That's something I created earlier. But we're going to do it now so you can see how it works. It's A little bit more clunky to use, I find, but I think you'll be amazed at what it can create. So I just type in, first of all, you have to type in /imagine, and then you put in a word prompt. So what it's doing is turning words into images, and you're the person using it are coming up with the words. There's lots of ways of doing this to a really high skill level, so you get images that are just amazing and more what you were looking for. I'm really new to it, so I can only put in I don't really know fully how to use it, so I'm just going to put in basic words like you would when you were first trying it and see what comes up. So I'm going to put prompts. So I'm going to put in, let's just think off the top of my head, I'm going to put lighthouse. Well, let's give it a colour and see if it'll come up with a colour. I'm going to put yellow lighthouse on rocks, surrounded by rough sea, a flying fish. I'm just going to put a flying fish. It's probably not the way to word it at all. We'll just see what happens. So we enter that, and then what this does now is process that, and then it will come back with 4 images, and they'll be quite basic images to start with, and then you have the chance to either choose it to do it again because you're not happy with what it's done, or you can choose one of the images and upscale it, or you can choose an image and ask it to do 4 variations of that image. So you pick the one you like, and you might want it to do more. So what did I say? Yellow lighthouse on rocks, surrounded by a rough sea, and then I've just put in, rather randomly, a flying fish. And these are the 4 images it's come up with, which I'm actually quite pleased with. So let's look, for the sake of it, let's go with that one, because I think that's the most accurate to what I actually asked for. Version 1, 2, 3 and 4, that's how they're numbered. And then under here you can see U1, 2, 3 and 4, so that means if you upscale it, so if I press U1 it will upscale that image and make a better image of that particular picture. Or below it says V1, so that's version. So I want more versions of number 1. So I'm going to ask it to do 4 more versions of number 1. Here we are. You can see it's still processing. It's only half done, 55%. It tells you here how the processing is going. Nearly done now. There we go. So we've got 4 slightly different versions, and we can choose then which one we like best out of those versions. I think I'm going to go for the sake of this, I'm going to choose that one. So that's version 2. I'm going to ask it to upscale version 2. The upscaling sometimes takes a few more minutes. I think it's having to work harder, more detail. Notice what it's done with the flying fish. It's made the fish yellow as well. I didn't actually specify what colour the fish had to be, but it seems to have chosen yellow, like the lighthouse. It has done the yellow lighthouse on rocks. Yes, surrounded by rough sea, yeah. So it's turned my words into pictures. And you can imagine the implications of this for creating things, for creating art in all sorts of forms. It really is quite incredible. And when you see some of the pictures, if you play around with it yourself and you see the quality of the pictures, that as well is quite incredible. That is the image that it's upscaled it to, which actually is quite beautiful. And then after that, you've got the opportunity to make variations on that picture, to do a light upscale, to do the biggest upscale you can do. I'm going to do that. We'll get the best quality upscale. And this is the final version it's come back with. So we've got this beautiful sea, we've got this yellow fish, and the detail on the fish is quite gorgeous. There's other flying fish I notice in the background now as well. Some of them are yellow too. And I can open this in my browser. I can then save it easily onto my computer. I can work with it some more. I could work with it in Word and do something with it. So amazing. So same words. The only thing that changed was me putting in the style of Van Gogh. This is the images. These are the images it's brought up. And here is our upgraded picture. There's our picture. See the detail. Okay. So there you go. I don't want to say too much more at this stage because I think it just gets so complicated project just to illustrate what it's capable of. And you'll see from your own experiments of just what it's capable of, and maybe you can think how it is helpful to you, because I believe there's a lot of good things about it, and probably how I feel about it at the moment, and this might change, but at the moment I see it as almost like having a really good work colleague or a friend that's supportive, that can you can bounce ideas off, you can get new ideas from. And it's almost like someone you're working with. So I don't have that feeling that I'm being taken over by it, but I have a feeling that it's a useful tool that might make certain aspects of my life a bit easier. And as I say, that might change, that feeling, but that's how I feel at the moment. Yeah, I feel it's here. It exists in the world, so it's something that's there. And as with lots of things that exist in the world, it's how we use it is one aspect of it. What we as humans do with it and how we use it. So I imagine it can be used for really good things, and it could be used for really bad things. And so I feel that I want to engage with it at the moment, because I feel that I want to try and use it to make the world a better place. And if I can do that to sort of augment what I do in my life and help me to do that in a better way, maybe in a quicker way, then that feels positive to me. And it's early days, but that's how I feel about it at the moment. So see what you think. Really interested about what you think. Love to hear your comments. So please write in the comments down below. Let me know what you feel about it, because I think this is a really important discussion for everyone to be having. Yeah, it'll develop, and only the future, we'll only know in the future. I would just say there's a lot of fear around it, and I totally understand that. I feel some of that myself, a bit of it's the unknown. And all I would say about that is, actually, in life, everything is unknown. Everything we do is actually unknown. I think sometimes we think it is, that we think, oh yes, I do this, and then this happens. But we never really know. There's always unintended consequences of things. We don't know the results of anything in our lives. We never know the ending. It can seem good, it becomes bad. It's bad, it becomes good. So I'm open-minded about it. But lots of love. Have a good week. And watch this space for more videos relating to AI. But I will continue to do my other videos as well, okay? Because I still think, simpler living and a simple life is something that's really important to me, and something that's really enjoyable for human beings. Okay, lots of love. Bye.